Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am here in beautiful Tampa, Florida. I've recently moved back from China to the US. I'm going through that whole reverse culture shock thing. So I've been living abroad for about 13 years, and I was in China for 3.5. And when you get into a new situation, you start to adapt. You have the culture shock, and I've made lots of videos about that. Coming back, you think, oh, it'll be like returning to home, like everything is normal. And actually, I'm just finding some things like that I totally forgot were amazing, that were here, that I didn't even realize that I missed. I've been traveling the world alone, so the thing that I missed most was my family. And since I've been back, I've been able to see family and friends and people I haven't seen in years. And living in the same time zone as people, you can communicate with them, you can call them, and you don't have to worry about them calling you at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking you can chat. So the next thing that I missed is specific to having lived in China, where we can't drink water out the tap. Here I can go to the bathroom in a restaurant and drink the water and know that I'm not going to die, I'm not going to get lead poisoning. I'm going to be completely safe drinking the water out of the tap. I'm here in Tampa, Florida. If you want to go ahead and leave me a emoji icon with the sunglasses in solidarity for this amazing, wonderful landscape that I'm experiencing. The air, this fresh air, it's beautiful. I can breathe. I can inhale without worrying if my lungs are going to, smoke 10 packs of cigarettes with each breath. And having lived in Beijing, that was my life. And I did lots of videos about air pollution. Go ahead and check those out. Some of you may have heard of the Great Firewall of China. Well, I lived it. You have a VPN or whatever to get around that, and you're at the mercy of how fast the VPN is that day. Being back here in America, I can just get on YouTube whenever I feel like it. I can get on Google. My watch, the voice assistant, it wouldn't work in China, and now I can just bloop, and it works perfectly. No limitations on the internet, and that is lovely. So what am I doing back here in the US? I am actually a real estate investor. That's what I did before I left the US 13 years ago. I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and being able to understand the country's economic system, being able to research laws and speak the language, and just being able to start my own business is something that it fuels me, it motivates me. And that's something that always bothered me in China. It's really difficult to start your own business. Of course, you can do the side hustles and all that, which I did, but being able to start a legitimate business and grow it and make income in America is really simple, and I miss having that option, and I'm glad to be back doing that. I moved to China because I wanted to be with Chinese people. I wanted to be in their culture. I wanted to be around the language. I wanted to be with them. And coming back to the US, I forgot how much I love diversity. There's Chinese people here. I can find Japanese, Thai, any kind of Asian. There's South Americans, there's Africans, Europeans, Native Americans. We have this diversity that is just unparalleled in China. And, the things that come with that, the differences in culture that you get to grasp, without even having to leave your home country. And one thing that I struggled with in Europe especially, but then China just took it up to a whole nother level, was smoking in public. And in the US, public smoking is even if it's not banned, it's usually frowned upon, or people will be courteous enough to just kind of go away or downwind. They understand that it's not a habit everybody enjoys, and they'll take the necessary precautions to get away from you. In China, they'll walk up to you and blow smoke in your face thinking that they're being friendly, and in Europe, it's ubiquitous. Being back here in the US, I can enjoy a coffee on a terrace, not worrying about if the person next to me is going to light up or not. So I traveled around China for 3.5 years. Different areas had different food, and I was trying cuisines that I'd never heard of, and I loved it. The food was amazing. But one thing that I did miss that is Chinese food are egg rolls. Because in China, they don't eat egg rolls. It doesn't exist. You're going to be hard-pressed to find an egg roll in China. I don't know why, but I really miss that. So one of the reasons that you can't drink the water in China is because the piping infrastructure is not good. And so this also means that you can't flush toilet tissue down the toilet. And you can do that here. Something small, and you probably take it for granted. You don't even realize that it's a thing. But travel to China, travel to Mexico, Thailand, some of these countries where they don't have the infrastructure for paper in the pipes, and you will realize, wow, I really like just being able to flush it down instead of having a big pile of stuff in the garbage can. So what about you? If you've traveled abroad and you've come back to the US, what are some things that you've missed? Thanks for following along. Remember to hit that subscribe button. I just met a guy here on the beach, Tom Cook. Give him a shout out. He was mentioning he loves watching YouTube, so I know he's going to subscribe. So do like Tom, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.